Hello there, my name is Siobhan. My presentation today focuses on the evolution of bass guitar in metal music. This presentation will also be published as a chapter in the upcoming Routledge Handbook to Metal Music Compositions, edited by Laurie Burns and Chiro Scotto. My purpose in this presentation is to explore aspects of the compositional evolution of bass guitar and its significant role in composition and production of metal music by examining the structure, performance, and function of the instrument in the work of 6 bass guitarists in 2 eras of the genre, traditional heavy metal and contemporary metal music. Allan Moore presents a model that classifies sound sources into 4 layers: rhythm, melody, harmony, and bass. The bass guitar is significant in metal music because it sets the foundation for 3 of these layers: rhythm, harmony, and bass. In addition, the bass guitar is essential to the genre as it delivers the low-end sounds that imparts a heavy quality to the music, and it provides the distinctive low-end frequencies that characterizes the signature sound of metal. While the guitar has been central focus of much research in metal music, academic work based on musicological analysis of the bass guitar and the significant role in metal music is scarce in metal scholarship. To understand the compositional evolution of the bass, I will build on Mark Mynett's Metal Music Manual, which divides metal into 2 distinct eras based on the criteria of structure, tempo, articulation, and instrumentation, which is a methodology that is influenced by Allan Moore, who used it to distinguish heavy metal from hard rock from the perspective of the factors mentioned above. Mynett argues that the transition from traditional heavy metal to contemporary metal music can be considered a repositioning that is focused on and more concerned with ensemble rhythmic complexity, moving away from aspects such as extended improvisations, the blues influence, and guitar heroism. To further investigate this evolution, I also adopt aspects of the theoretical framework developed by Timothy Cousin, which integrates guitar tablature and harmonic transformational theory to map paths of motion through the fretboard locations on the guitar. Guitar tablature, or tab, is a form of musical notation in which notes are represented by numbers showing the frets at which the strings should be held down in order for the note to sound. These numbers are placed on horizontal lines, each line representing a string on the guitar. The top line represents the high E string of the guitar, and the bottom line represents the low E string. The numbers on the tablature indicates which frets the fingers are to be placed, and they are read from left to right. When reading the tab, the numbers written in a single line from left to right indicate the melody or solo, and stacked numbers indicate a chord. Bass tablature usually features 4 strings, with the top line representing G and the bottom line representing E. As I interpret the tab notation, I will be commenting on the full pitch range that is explored and on the number of frets that are used in the service of the melodic and harmonic patterning. I will refer to this as the terrain covered on the instrument. In this figure, the tab is immediately beneath the standard notation, and the rectangle symbol signifies the bass line. The notes inside the hexagon represents the ground covered on the bass fretboard from lowest fret to the highest. In this case, A, the 5th fret on the E string, and A, the 14th fret on the G string, represent the lowest to highest frets. The notes inside the circles reveal the strings used in the performance. In this case, a circle on each string means all 4 strings were used. Such data is important because it quantifies bass involvement in the melodic and harmonic patterning of different song sections, which results in an enhanced understanding of performance and compositional structure. Before the presentation is concluded, I will dedicate a separate section to examine the bass's contribution to heaviness in metal music. The results of the data from this section will inform how significant the bass role is to metal music production, achieving the low end or the low timbre, which is essential to the genre. Heaviness is a fundamental auditory characteristic in metal music, as discussed by Jan Peter Herbst and Mark Mynett, with the genre being on a continual quest for greater heaviness. Although heaviness is essential to the genre, a robust definition of heaviness does not exist. Herbst and Mynett, in their Heaviness in Metal Music Production project, indicate that it is a sought-after quality, which could be found in different aspects of the musical sound of metal, such as production, instrumentation, timbre, technique, and etc. Heaviness, from the perspective of different metal scholars, come from different sources. Keith Can Harris emphasizes the pivotal role of transgression, identifying a social intention to transgress sonically, discursively, and bodily. Other sources that have been discussed include aspects such as downtuning the instrument and techniques such as power chords or distortion pedals. Before the analysis, I shall explore the criteria determining the 2 eras. What can be defined as traditional heavy metal? It is a type of metal music that is characterized by slower tempos, typically between 120 to 160 beats per minute, with an emphasis on individualized solo virtuosity and a strong influence from blues improvisations. George Turner likens traditional heavy metal virtuosos to Romantic-era virtuosos, lauded for their mastery and ability to provide oral pleasure. Neil Postman and Andrew Cope trace traditional heavy metal back to the early 1970s with bands such as Black Sabbath, and in the 80s with bands such as Iron Maiden and Metallica, with the era fading away in the 1990s. Following traditional heavy metal, a faster, more aggressive metal style began to arise. This new style did not emphasize melodic hooks, blues influence, or individualized solo virtuosities. In the early 1990s, underground or extreme metal was born, which consists of various musical subgenres such as death metal, doom metal, and black metal. Across this set of extreme metal subgenres, musical radicalism marks them out as different from other forms of heavy metal, such as down-tuned guitars, heavier distortions, and growling vocals. In contrast to traditional heavy metal, Mynett argues that contemporary metal music is characterized by an overall increase in the performance tempo, illustrating that it could reach up to 250 with a tendency to exhibit significant variations compared to those in traditional heavy metal. Now let's move on to the analysis section. As discussed at the beginning of this presentation, the formal analysis methodology I am using for this analysis is based on Mark Mynett's. Analyzing the songs with this model and examining each individual factor is essential, as it allows me to articulate the compositional evolution of function, performance, and compositional structure of the bass guitar from traditional heavy metal to contemporary metal music. I will examine each factor by analyzing riff, intro, chorus, and solo sections from both eras due to their frequent usage. After careful consideration, I find these chosen formal sections to be where the greatest harmonic and melodic activity happened for the bass, which validates their analytic significance. In the interest of time, I will only look into riff, intro, and chorus sections in this presentation. I have selected 6 bass guitarists, 3 from traditional heavy metal and 3 from contemporary metal music, representing various subgenres within metal music. The traditional heavy metal bassists are Butler, Steve Harris, and Cliff Burton, and the contemporary bassists are Ivana Jenkins, Sharlee D'Angelo, and Alex Webster. I have chosen them based on their significant contribution to their respective bands' compositions and the fact that each possesses a distinctive aspect in their playing style. For example, Butler, Harris, and Burton each contribute to their band's overall sonic and timbre quality and expression by using effect pedals, and compositionally by introducing unique styles of playing, such as galloping and downward motion plucking. Jenkins, D'Angelo, and Webster are among the most technical bassists, with their versatile contribution not only with their respective bands, but also releasing individual solo albums and collaborations with other bands. In addition, they can play at exceptionally fast speeds, an attribute that is essential to contemporary metal music. In the first example, we will be looking at Geezer Butler's approach to the riff section of NIB, which consists of 2 sections. The first riff is in bars 1 to 4, and the second is in bars 5 to 8. Let's listen to the audio. In the first riff, the guitar repeats a rhythmic gesture, not following the harmonic changes. Rather, it is the bass that drives the harmonic progression here, descending stepwise from the 1st to the 6th scale degree in the progression E, D, C Aeolian. In the second riff, the bass function changes from leading the harmonic progression to doubling the guitar with occasional improvisation using techniques such as bending at the end of bar 6 and hammer-ons at the end of bar 8. Using notes from E minor pentatonic and not committing to fully match the guitar note by note. The tab data in this example reveals how in this section Butler covers good ground on the fretboard across 8 frets, in this case B, which is the 2nd fret on the A string representing the lowest, to E, which is the 9th fret on the G string representing the highest frets. Furthermore, he is using all 4 strings of the bass, showcasing an active involvement on different octaves and working on multiple strings. In contrast, Sharlee D'Angelo's contribution to the riff section of Arch Enemy's The Watcher provides an opportunity to reveal limitations to the bass in the riffs of contemporary metal music compositions. Let's listen to the audio. With the song's tempo at 185 beats per minute, the bass is limited to doubling the guitars and playing the exact same notes as the rhythm guitar, contributing to a single heavy sound. Its role harmonically is limited to providing perceived heaviness rather than creating rhythmic and harmonic contrast in the composition. The tab data in this example showcases this limitation by illustrating that in this section of the song, he only works across 4 frets using 3 strings of the bass. Contemporary metal music focuses on the complexity and intensity of rhythmically concentrated drum, bass, and guitar patterns. Faster tempos with these groupings prevent variations and performance flexibility. This is a clear distinction of traditional heavy metal's riff sections, in which more musical space allows the bassists to be more expressive and creative in their participation with pedals, techniques, and amplification. The bass guitar's harmonic and melodic participation in traditional heavy metal compositions can often be equal to that of the guitar, even performing primary melodies and solos and having entire sections built upon the bass. Introducing new levels of timbre for the bass using various techniques and pedals, Cliff Burton of Metallica is seen as a pioneer of this practice, and the intro section of Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls provide a good demonstration. Let's listen to it. His virtuosistic unique timbre, which comes from using a variety of pedals such as wah, fuzz, delay, and Ibanez tube screamer, with the addition of butt-pucker pickup on the neck of the bass, allows him to turn the bass into a lead instrument, actively participating in the songs rather than just matching the guitars. The tab data in this example illustrates his leading role as he covers a lot of ground during this solo, working across 2 different octaves using all 4 strings of the bass guitar. Although contemporary metal has its roots in traditional heavy metal, its performances rely on the speed and precision of the intricate parts that require significant emphasis on synchronization. This is evident in Kittie's intro riff, I Failed You. Let's listen to that audio. At 200 beats per minute, the synchronization level is of utmost importance in emphasizing the precision and technical accuracy, ultimately not leaving much freedom for movement and progression, limiting Ivana's input to only 2 frets using just 2 strings. In addition, the guitars are tuned to drop B, occupying the low area of the mix, which leaves little space for the bass to have a unique role in the composition. Capturing and presenting the concept of rhythmic perfection is a paramount goal for numerous musicians and producers, which leads to a structured approach for contemporary metal music bass performance, with little room for improvisation. In contrast, in traditional heavy metal, the bass takes a more leading role, sometimes equal to the guitar, providing harmonic and melodic participation with unique timbres from pedals and instruments, occasionally playing the hook and the main melody of the songs. Bassists in traditional heavy metal play melodically and drive the song, rather than just doubling the guitars. This is evident in the chorus sections as well. For example, let's listen to the chorus section of Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Nobody wants him. He just stares at the world.
The chorus section consists of 2 parts. The bass takes over the riffing of part 1, playing an integral part in defining the functional meaning of the chord in bar 1 by adding a D inflecting the E5 from bar 1 as an E minor 7, and a C sharp on bar 2, raising the 6th degree a semitone, changing the chord from D5 to D major 7. In part 2 of the chorus, the bass matches the guitar to provide heaviness to the riffing, demonstrating variation in the instrument's participation in traditional heavy metal music. In contrast, Alex Webster's input on the chorus section of Cannibal Corpse's Murderer's Rampage illustrates his limitation to doubling the guitar, which is caused due to the increased focus and rhythmic complexity in traditional and contemporary chorus sections. Let's listen to the audio. On the tempo of 217 beats per minute and time signature 4/4, the drums, the guitars, and the bass are all synced together, playing fast subdivisions. The role of the bass is limited to adding heaviness by matching the guitar note for note. Alex Webster states that he's using his Microtube's B7K Ultra pedal alongside his Aguilar DB751 amplifier and his signature Spectro Euro 5 string bass with Seymour Duncan signature pickups, because it helps a lot to break through the mix and the wall of sound created by the down-tuned heavy guitars. The tap data in this example demonstrates that Webster's input is restricted to covering 4 frets on the bass, using just 1 string in the process. Conversely, the chorus analysis reveals an increased degree of flexibility in traditional heavy metal that allows bassists to demonstrate leading roles melodically and harmonically, such as Butler's integral part in defining the functional meaning of the chords. Now we move on to the heaviness analysis. To illustrate the bass's contribution to heaviness, I examine 2 audio tracks, one from each era. In this sonic analysis, I rely upon some software tools. First, I use Transcribe, a software designed for music specifically for bass guitar to isolate the bass from the audio. Subsequently, I use the EQ function in Logic Pro X to compare the original track to the version without the bass. This method quantifies the bass weight and its role in amplifying low ED frequencies, highlighting its importance in creating heaviness in metal music. The tracks chosen for this analysis are Dream Theater's Panic Attack from contemporary metal music and Iron Maiden's The Trooper from traditional heavy metal. In the interest of time, I will only show the Trooper's data in this presentation. On average, the bass guitar usually has a range that falls into the low to low-mid range of the overall EQ, which is between 0 to 250 Hz. The area in the green shows roughly where the bass guitar sits in the mix. In this figure, the numbers inside the rectangle, for example 120 and 200, represents the Hertz, and the arrows pointing towards the right side of the figure emphasize the decibels reached. Now let's look at the Trooper example. In the version with the bass, the frequencies that occur in the low range, which is around 60 to 80 Hz, reach 4.5 decibels, and in the low to low mid range, which is around 200 Hz, they reach 3 decibels, resulting in more weight in the low end of the EQ. Let's listen to this example with the bass. In the version without the bass, the highest amplitude occurs in the low region of 180 Hz with 2 decibels, and everything else falls below that. Let's listen to the same example, this time without the bass. Since loudness and power are vital for metal sound, and low frequencies provide powerful sonic weight, the data from the EQ reveals that the bass guitar plays a significant role in providing those low-end sounds that give metal its signature sound. Given the importance of bass to metal music in both composition and heaviness, and by examining the structure, performance, and role of the instrument, analysis in this presentation explored aspects of the compositional evolution of the bass guitar and its significant role by examining the structure, performance, and function of a variety of leading bass guitarists. The role of the bass in metal is different between the 2 eras. Due to slower tempos of traditional heavy metal, there was a reduced focus on accents and synchronization, which afforded traditional heavy metal bassists more musical space for rhythmic and melodic movement, ultimately allowing the bassist to have a greater role in complementing the song. However, the bass role has since evolved, and in contrast, due to the ensemble rhythmic complexity and faster tempos of contemporary metal music, as referred to by Mark Mynett, the bass often simply doubles the guitar. Finally, the sonic analysis of heaviness has provided data that reveals the bass to add significant weight to the low end of the mix and to play an essential role in making the music heavy. Thank you very much.